Hi, welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name's Wendy. I'm your host, and I nearly wasn't going to be here today with Mel Cosgrove. Hi, Mel.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. We had some techno things and we had some forgetful things from my behalf, but we got here in the end.
Yes. This morning has taught me a lot, so we should start there.
Okay. We will start there, but just before we do start there, I'll just say this is a contribution to the Access Consciousness Foundation series that I'm running on my show for the next few weeks, or I have for the past few weeks. Access Consciousness, if you don't know what it's all about yet, go on to www.accessconsciousness.com and you will find out everything that you need to know, and we will give you some more. So go, Mel. What have you learnt this morning?
Well, I was like, yeah, sort of just this last hour, I went into, oh, have I done something wrong? I haven't done this right. And oh my God, did I miss this email? All this mental noise. And I'm like, okay, does this actually contribute to anything we're doing? Have I not learned nothing from the last, 3 years? So I kind of went, cool, if I don't have a judgment about it, then it just is what it is. And I know, I can perceive that we will get here right now. And we did.
Awesome. So see how Access works, peeps. Look at my messy hair. See how Access works. It takes all the stress out of everything. And that was completely an error that I had there. And I was traveling and I was trying to get back to my van before I answered Mel. But anyway, it all sorted itself out. And like I said, there was lots of little hiccups along the way, but we're here.
Exactly. And they're only hiccups if you think of them to be that way.
Yeah. Well, yes, and we use the tools of Access, and I have talked a lot about tools of Access, mentioned a couple of tools. If you really want to deep dive into Access, go to their website, and all the links will be in the show notes anyway, and you can look at the last few episodes of the Foundation series, and also back in September 2022 for Mental Health Week, I did a whole week of Access, the bars, which is the 32 points on the head. So today we're talking Foundation. Foundation is another class. Oh, I think I need to slow down my speaking. Oh, sorry, people, I've been running. So the Foundation is a class that Access Consciousness offer. And I've done 2 classes, and I met Mel at the second class I did at the retreat at the Sunshine Coast recently. And I shared a lot. I'll share again that I went there as like a reset for the year because A, it's a retreat. Who doesn't want to get away for a few days? And B, it keeps the credits up for me to be able to keep my facilitation of classes going for the bars classes. And it's just a perfect way to reset your brain. And mine was a little bit scrambled at the start of the year. And so it was just awesome after, I think, the second day. I still don't remember which day it was. And the only description I have is like my whole brain got pulled out, washed and put back in. And it was only within about 10 minutes that I felt, oh my God, I felt completely normal, whatever normal is, but no brain fog, no anything. I think I actually had a conversation with people then because I really didn't want to be around anybody on the first day. So on that, I've been to 2 foundations. How many have you been to, Mel?
That was my 3rd.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it was truly amazing.
It was. And I always say it was amazing because I was there.
You definitely contributed a lot.
Oh my gosh, I'll just get that ticket off. So with the foundation, the first foundation I went to was a real true awakening for me. And then the second foundation, I really knew that I needed it to help us, help my brain. I guess I'll just talk about my brain, help my brain, because I do a lot of different modalities, and I was doing bits and pieces of everything, and nothing really got there for me. Start using some tools for access, like we've spoken about, well, not us, but in the past podcast, we've spoken about who does this belong to, and that helped considerably as well. But it wasn't until one of the clearings at Foundation, the entity clearing. I know we're going woo-woo here, people, but the entity clearing that actually just wiped the slate clean for me. Have you had, so that was just profound for me. Like, I've never had anything happen so quickly, efficiently, and fucking weird before. So
yes, I can definitely relate to what you're saying.
So hence the series, because I just find it just amazing. Has anything like that flipped your lid?
Yeah, like I guess I'll just back straight up, maybe even to my first foundation, you know, sort of going in there. I had I guess probably a good 7 years of, you know, going more into the spiritual realm of things, you know, with reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember showing up at my first foundation, and it literally just knocked me off my rocker. I was just like, what? You know, because I found I went from trying to fit into society, and then I was like trying to fit into this spiritual realm of some kind that had, you know, all these rules and regulations and what everything needed, and, you know, and then I went into the foundation for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is really light, but so heavy, because I was still trying to hold all these things that I thought were me, and that I thought I had to do and be, and how I had to act and what I had to say. So I felt like that sort of cleaned the closet. You know, take your brain out, washed it, put it back.
Yeah.
Said before. My second foundation, I guess, was maybe getting everything at a deeper level. And it's funny how sometimes you go to these courses, you crack open the book and you're like reading word for word, and then when the class is over, it's like you kind of don't touch it again. It just sort of sits on the shelf. So by the second foundation, I remember sort of reading through, and I was like, oh, wow. Oh, and things were just starting to make sense to me within my own world. So not that I was trying to fit myself into some sort of box somewhere else, but I was like, oh, wow, I truly have this power for me. And I don't need to probably get that from anybody else. I just need to ask these questions to myself and come back to me. Third foundation, I would probably say I was on the exact same wavelength as you, showing up totally frazzled, like full-blown anxiety. And then probably within that first, I think it was the first night, that sort of 3-hour class that we had on the first day, it's like I didn't want to perceive how aware I am, like, of the entities. And yeah, that was probably my biggest takeaway, is just finally going, okay, wow, maybe I do believe I have some form of a gift. Like, we all have gifts.
Yes.
But, you know, like, really going, oh, okay, this is probably, you know, what brings on my anxiety or my anxiousness when I'm not listening or connecting to self, or when I'm searching externally for my answers, or, you know, those types of things. So yeah, it was definitely a really big one. And, you know, from probably that first night into the second day, I was like, oh, there's a bit more space here now.
Yeah. And
even though 17 people was a lot of people too. And I was just, you know, jittery. Yeah.
And, you know, I've had a couple of people on the show that have said, like, the 17, it was a lot of people, and it was a lot of people, a lot of different energies. And look, I'll just explain to the viewers about the entities. I'm not, and this is what I'm going to say, I'm not going to talk about the entities, because I don't know enough about all of that. But if you want to check it out, www.accessconsciousness.com, and there's so many classes that they offer and everything on there. Just check it out if you want to know more about that. But it was the entity side for me as well. I don't know if I just said that before. I never know what I'm saying. But yeah, it was that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hey, I didn't know. You didn't look anxious when you were there.
Oh yeah.
Sis.
Like
Oh yeah.
I think you had Megan on, or sorry, Megan on not long ago. And yeah, I think I probably sat with her and cried. I was like,
Oh,
what's going on?
oh, did
It's
you?
crazy. Yeah, she helped me a little bit there.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
so people, if you don't like crying or you don't like showing up or you don't like talking or you don't like sharing your emotions, maybe the foundation's not for you. But if you like a good cry and a good, I don't know, a good swear even, or
Yeah.
a lot of fun, then
Yeah.
the foundation is definitely for you.
Yeah. It
Um,
was
yeah. So how long ago did you find Access, Mel, and what sort of drove you to seeking out Access, or how did you come upon Access?
well, it's kind of a cool story actually. I got my bars run. My sister-in-law had got her bars run originally. Um, and then she told me about it. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, cool. I'll sort of try anything at this point. I was quite anxious at the time. So I tried it and I remember just lying on the bed and I'm like, okay, what do I do? Or all this type of stuff. And she's like, no, you just lie there. Stop having so many expectations of what you need to. And I'm like, okay. And then she literally touched my head, and probably within 5 minutes, I'm like, why does it feel like laser beams are shooting into the palms of my
Wow,
it was,
amazing.
it was really my first experience, I guess, feeling or perceiving energy.
Mm,
Like, oh, this is really cool. Maybe I have a gift too, because I always put myself last,
mm,
just
mm,
people pleaser, full of anxiety, worry, everything.
mm,
So yeah, my first bars session was unbelievable. So from there, I didn't do anything for probably about a year. Then I went to a bars class. Um, and yeah, I did my first bars class, and that was amazing.
mm,
Um, and yeah, so I sort of found it that way, and just in my own time, slowly,
mm,
slowly, started to, I guess, bring it more into my life.
mm,
And I think I was thinking of this morning. One of the biggest things to me is that there are so many amazing body modalities that are out there,
mm,
that assist in the body.
mm,
But the thing is, after you do your bars class, it's everything afterwards that just blows my mind, and
mm,
where the real healing is. Because,
mm,
you can get your body healed so many times. But the thing is if we don't have our mind, or we're not connected to self, um, then we're just constantly throwing our body out of alignment. It's kind of
mm,
just a quick fix. But, if we're not centering ourselves and really realizing and being aware where we're making these decisions that are creating this,
mm.
um, then we could pretty much go daily to get our body.
Yeah, I sort of see it as it is hard to explain. Like energy, if people are going, oh, what's all this energy stuff? I mean, surely, you can walk into a room of strangers. Like I'm sure everybody has had some sort of experience like this. They've walked into a room where they've felt uncomfortable and they've just contracted, or they've walked into a room where everyone's been laughing and smiling, and they've just felt like their whole body open up. I mean, that's energy, people. So
Yeah.
with the other, yeah, a lot of the modalities I've tried, and there's some awesome modalities out there. I
Oh,
mean, you
brilliant.
find what fits you. But I just
Yeah.
know, like the same recurring thoughts can come back, and it's sort of basically the energetic, like cutting the umbilical cord off the energy that's that's attaching that emotion or the circumstance to in your body. So the access sort of clears with the energy, with the clearing statements and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know if I'll explain that properly, but that's just
Yeah.
how I see it. And it wasn't until I did the access that it truly, it's a real awakening. That's how I found it. And you talked about the space, and I think it does create space in your head. So and that's just not for the bars. We always go to the bars on the foundation series. The bars is the first the first and the simplest and easiest starting point for access, because you can go and get your bars run, and like Mel said, you can go to a bars class and one bars class, you can become a bars practitioner, and you can go and, you can charge people, you can get clients and charge them for, running bars on them as well. And then once you do your 3 classes, you're a facilitator. So then you can teach the classes. And it's really important to do a bars class, because it is that stepping stone, that first point into access, so you can understand. Well, you don't need to understand everything, because some things are just like, you just can't. You can't understand it, but it works. And then the foundation is basically the next one, I would say, from that. I mean, there's others that you can do, but the foundation would be the next one that I would suggest. So yeah, the bars, as I keep saying, we go back to the bars all the time. It's 32 points on your head, and you just like touch, takes about an hour or so. And Mel said that she had the, how did you describe it? Down your arms? Laser.
Oh yeah, like laser beams were shooting out of my hands. It's just like this rush of energy.
Yeah, and sometimes you won't always get that. I've had different clients that have, stuff in their head going on. They've had stuff going down one side of their body. Sometimes you don't feel anything. You go to sleep. I've had that as well, but you just feel different when you wake up. So for the first time I had my bars run, my head was just in a fog. I wasn't sleeping. I was just like in a mental breakdown status, and had my bars ran, and I'm like, oh, it's like I was on a high, So, and I felt like it gave me an excuse not to do anything for the rest of my life, because that's just how you felt. Well, that's how I felt, I should say. Yeah. So
can I share my little analogy of bars?
You can share anything, darling.
So I explain it to my clients as, you have this dirty, greasy pan, and you go and you put water in it, and it sort of separates the grease a little bit. And then you go and put the soap, and as soon as you touch the soap, the grease just goes to the sides of the pan.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like a bar session is. It just takes everything that's sort of not yours or relevant, to right now in this space of time, and just pushes it aside. Yep. And then slowly after that, you can use maybe the tools that your practitioner has told you, or if you've taken a bars class, you can use the questions. And as they slowly, start creeping in, you can go, cool, is this mine? No, it's not mine. Okay, return to sender, or but yeah, I think that's my little cool analogy.
That is cool. And I'm a very visual person. I was visualizing that, and I'm thinking, oh yuck, I got all that grease stuck to the side of my head now. Like, but yes, it's sort of, it just gets you unstuck, peeps. And like Mel says, get your bars run. And look, this was pretty profound for us, obviously, and it has been for a lot of people people I've had on my series and the bars back in September. And again, look, everybody's different. I just think it's phenomenal. But yeah, I forget what I was going to say.
And it's not, it's not just a one-time fix too, because we have all these layers. So I know, like, lots of people do have the expectation of a lot happening within one session.
Yeah.
But it's just when the world feels a bit heavy again, that's when I normally feel like, okay, it's time for my bars to be run.
Yes.
And you're just slowly peeling these layers over time.
Yeah. And that's right. It's not a one-time fix. Nothing's a one-time fix. It just depends on, well, it doesn't depend. I mean, like Mel said, don't have expectations of anything, because I think I know myself, if I have expectations of anything, it sort of sticks you straight away. You have, the movies is a good one.
Yeah.
Years ago, when the movie, a new movie came out, people would say, oh, it's awesome, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. So I'd go into the movies thinking it's absolutely amazing because everyone's told me it's amazing. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, when's this movie going to finish? And so that's an expectation, isn't it, people, that it's going to be good because everyone says so, but not me so. So now, after a little bit of that happening, I said to, people say, oh yeah, there's this movie on. I just put my hand up. Don't tell me about it. Don't want to know. I don't look at programs. I don't look at anything. And so brings me to a really good point when I was talking to Megan about the foundation and the bars. I went to the bars because I was directed there by my cousin, and I just looked somebody up and went there. I saw that I knew that it was some sort of energy thing, but I just went, okay, yep, I'm going. I didn't read all about it. I didn't Google all about it. I didn't do anything like that. And so saying that to Megan, and then she said to me, can I ask you a question? What did you do with foundation? I went, I did the same. I'm like, she rang me again, my cousin, and she says, oh, you've got to do this. Your life will never be the same. Well, guess what, people? My life hasn't been the same. So if you want your life to change, go to foundation.
Yeah, totally.
Go to access. What else, Mel? What else can we blabber on about?
I think I have, I guess, every foundation, probably like 3 things that really stick out to me that I take home. You know, even though I've gone through this manual 3 times, you know, but there's always these things that come at the right time that just stick out to you a little bit more than the others. And I'd probably say distractor implants always, because it we can explain what this distracting implants are to you.
Well, Mel can, because she's got the manual. I don't.
So distractor implants are pretty much emotions that keep you from knowing, perceiving, being, and all those things. So we have these emotions
and receiving.
And receiving, sorry, thank you. So we have these feelings, you know, blame, shame, anger, guilt, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Fear, all that stuff. And what they do is they block us from what we actually know. So they'll sort of stay in your way and block you from moving forward, or keep you in anxiety, or, you know, all these types of things. And every foundation, distractor implants has always been one of my 3, because it's that really easy thing to forget, I think, on a daily basis of
it is,
you know, because we have emotions all the time, and it's not disregarding emotions. So don't think I'm just saying like, oh, well, you know, it's not real, so just don't believe it. You know, I get that there's, you know, a level of allowance and everything that needs to happen, you know, for you to sort of get to that place of you know, sort of realizing what we're choosing in that moment, if that makes sense.
Yes. It does to me.
Yeah. Would you like to break this down more?
No, you're doing a fabulous job. I'll just keep saying www.accessconsciousness.com. That's my explanation.
So how I had my frying pan analogy for bars, I have this other analogy for distractor plants. So I think of it like our digestive system as such. So sorry, I can't remember every single one off the top of my head. So can I even say it? Do you know? Am I allowed to say it?
Don't do any clearing.
No, I won't do clearings, but I just wanted to, you know, so for example, just emotions in general. So sorry, I'm going to rewind now. Going back to the distractor implant, and your digestive system. So sort of what's not ours. So all these emotions aren't actually who you are as a being. You know, they're what we decide to take on. They're what we hear from other people tell us. It's what reality tells us, or society. So it's all these things. So what is actually not yours emotionally, you can't digest. It'll create this angst and this anxiousness and unease in your body, just like in your digestive system, but it's emotions.
Yes.
So I usually look at that like, you know, what's not mine I can't digest. So if I'm holding resistance to something, then that's almost my body then telling me like, okay, it's like my alarm bell to go, oh, is this actually mine? You know, because we sort of try to digest this crap and shove it down and think it's ours, you know, whether it's, you know, trauma or any of that stuff. but then asking yourself such a simple question, like, is this actually mine that I'm trying to
Mm.
digest but won't? So that's sort of
That
how
can
I,
help. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good analogy, and that can help you get out of it and out of the, like, if you're feeling really down. I mean, look, I can give you an example of that. You know, you come up to somebody, like you've known somebody for a long time, and you say something to them, just, I don't know, you say something to them, and then they you know, and then they don't talk to you and so forth, and then that makes you feel like, oh my God, what have I done wrong to them? What have I, you know, I've done this and that, and you can just feel, you can feel it in your gut. I mean, that's where we feel a lot of our stuff, in the gut.
yeah,
And you can just feel, I mean, I'm sure the listeners and viewers will understand this. Your body just straight away contracts because you're like, oh my God, they don't like me anymore. They don't, you know, what have I said wrong? But really, it's not you, it's them. Okay. It's sort of their problem. And it's not it's not as simple as that. I mean, if you tell them to, you know, if you've told them something horrible, well, maybe it is your problem. But in general, if, you know, it's generally, you know, people have got their own stuff going on. So most of the time it's not your problem if you've upset them per se. You know, they might be going through something really traumatic of their own. And so is that what you're sort of talking about,
yeah,
Mel?
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's not, so that's what it is. It's not our problem to digest.
Mm.
And so therefore the tools of access can really break all of that down for you. And it is truly amazing how much more of you get, and how much freer you feel, and how much you actually contribute to more humans by being you and being able to know that that stuff's not yours and it's theirs, and then you can even contribute to them as well.
Yeah,
So that's what I really love about access. It's all the contribution receiving that you can actually gain through the awareness of you
mm.
with the tools, and be able to expand more. And
Yeah,
that's what I love.
yeah.
So you said 3. Did you want to go through the other 2 that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I think question is probably another big one, like
Yeah.
always staying in the question. And I'm not sure, you know, you've probably talked about question heaps um
Not
in your
much.
podcast, but I think
Oh, I have no
huge.
idea.
I think questions are huge.
Mm,
And you know, again, sometimes when you just, you know, kind of get into life and you're like, oh, ask myself a question.
mm,
And you know, just the really simple questions like, is this mine? Who does it belong to?
mm.
Return to sender, and then go, okay, cool. What would I choose now? Like now that
Yeah.
I've sort of realized this and been
Mm,
aware that this isn't probably really what I would choose. I'm only choosing it because someone else told
mm,
me to, or it's just what we do, or, you know, those types of things.
mm.
I think it's really cool to, you know, just remind yourself to be in question.
I
And
think
there's
that,
this awesome app that Access has also too. Who does this belong to? So
yes.
it's an app that you can set like
Mm,
however minutes of the day. And I
mm,
challenge you to do it for at least 3 days. Um, you know, just to see what sort of comes up for you and how
mm.
much more space you get from doing that for 3 days.
I'm I'm laughing because I did that and I had the notifications on. Oh my God, it drove me insane. So I had to turn the notifications off, but I did it for 3 days, and it is
Yeah.
awesome. The one, you know, the one, I mean, I do ask questions, but the one question I find is very helpful is it true?
Yeah.
I sort
Is
of
it,
say, is it true? Like, you know, you're
and is
walking
it
down,
true for me? So like, is it true for you?
well,
You know?
yeah, yeah. So, and I mean, it's the same as, you know, even my example before with a friend or something, you know, and they're, you know, they're not talking to you or whatever, and you think that it's your problem, and yeah, well, is this really true for me? Like, or yeah. Anyway, that's a
Mm.
question I like to ask. And if you're even, oh, I don't know, there's so many examples. I just can't think of any.
And I
So,
think like I am a huge empath, like probably to the nines. Like I just walk past people and take all their stuff on. So I think the question was a big thing for us empaths because you don't really realize how much you take on,
mm,
you know, of other people's
mm,
even stuff that you just make up or, you
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
those types of things. What would be one for you, Wendy? Which are sort of your favorites?
I was using a lot of that distractor implant when I left foundation. I ask questions. I do the choice, like what
Yeah.
would I choose? And then of course you go into a bit of yucky crap every now and hey, that's what I want to say. This is not all, all happy gayo all the time, peeps.
No,
Like sometimes you can wake up
not.
feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And then this is what we're talking about, the questions, because as soon as you ask a question, I mean, even if you don't even do access and you just ask a question like, how can I change, or what could I choose to change this right at this very minute, or anything, something like that. It really takes you out of that yicky moment, you know? And in saying that, you're talking about taking on other people's energies. So when New Year's, I just felt straight away almost depressed and trying to do all these other little bits and pieces that I knew to do, and a bit of access. Well, it wasn't until I sort of thought, oh, who does this belong to? Oh my God, New Year's resolutions, the whole world.
Oh, I felt the
And
same.
and then I know it sounds bizarre, but honestly, I've never felt like that. I can't remember the last time I felt like that. I mean, even when I was in a little bit of mental breakdown state, I didn't feel like that. But it was just like really heavy. My head, that was part of reason I went to access to the foundation as well, because I knew that it would help. I got rid of a lot of it when I started asking questions. Who does this belong to was the main question. I'm like, oh, and you just get the answer, people. Like your body just tells you the answer straight away. As soon as I said, who does this belong to? It was like, all the New Year's resolutioners. I'm like, oh, it's their crap.
Yeah.
Return to sender with consciousness attached. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God, I feel better.
Absolutely.
So that's my fave.
And I like what you said, that everything isn't happy 100% of the time. And that is totally okay because, we need those moments too. And I think, because I've definitely been there, still some days still there. And I think one of the biggest sort of tools was allowance for me. Because when you're in those moments, you think you need to get out of them because you think you always have to feel good, be happy, all those things. But those moments can actually teach us a lot as well. So when you're really down, it's like, okay, cool. How can I have allowance in this moment? How can I just pull apart that resistance of not wanting to be here a little bit? Just, try and really allow myself to relax into this and have kindness for myself of being there and not, oh, I hate this feeling. I hate that I'm feeling this way. All those types of things, because we'll do anything to try and get out of feeling like that. But it just keeps creating more resistance.
I was just going to say it doesn't help, does it? And that's a
No.
great point. Like, thank you for bringing up the allowance, because I sort of I've been showing people that allowance just in their general life. Like they're like, oh, I shouldn't be sitting down watching TV. I feel lazy. I'm like, well, if your body wants to sit down and watch TV, why not? So just sit down and watch TV. You're not going to be doing that for your rest of your life, I'm guessing. They go, oh, no. Well, why not? So I think, like we've been indoctrinated in society that we have to, should. So no, do whatever
That's
the hell we want.
It's really funny, Wendy, because I was just having this exact conversation about the go, always setting yourself up for better, all that type of stuff. But and that's great. But, sometimes you do need to allow yourself to rest, or you will just be constantly trying to climb the ladder that never ends. It's like, so allowing yourself space, whether it's a day or a week. Sometimes, like if you're complete exhaustion or depression and anxiety, like it's okay. Just allow yourself the rest, allow yourself the time, allow yourself that massage or to journal or, yeah, I think it's huge.
Yeah, you have to
From
be
my
an
personal
allowance.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, me too. You have to be an allowance of where you're at and not judge. There's no judgment there. You just you're doing what you can with the tools that you have.
Yeah.
The tools of access may, if you've not been privy to access, the tools of access may help you even more and quicker and continue to have that effect even like after you have your bars run, for example, the effect of that continues afterwards and you may not even realize. So it's profound. Get your bars run, go to foundation. Prerequisite for foundation is bars class. Get your bars run, go to bars class, get your facilitator license, go to
Absolutely.
foundation.
The foundation.
It's a retreat. I'll never ever go on a health retreat ever again. My health retreat is a foundation.
Yeah. Retreat style.
Retreat style. Yes, both my foundations have been retreat style. Don't want to go home. I know.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I know.
amazing.
Hey, thank you. Anything else you'd like to share, Mel?
Oh, there's so much I could share.
Please don't.
I won't overwhelm. And I won't say, oh my God, I'll tell you everything about the movie.
No, please don't. No, I was only joking. Mel, I'll put all Mel's contact details in the show notes if and not if, but when you would like to contact Mel. And
Cool.
thank you for sharing. That was awesome. Loved it. You're
Thanks
such
for
an
having me.
oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, we're gonna go bye.
Bye.